I killed my father with a single whisper. Not with poison or a blade, but with words he'd buried deeper than his secrets, words that shattered the empire he built on my silence. The boardroom gasped as I stood there, 19 and voiceless for 365 days. My vocal cords atrophied from the trauma he inflicted to keep me quiet. "Daddy's little lie," I said, my voice a rasp like sandpaper on silk, "is finally telling the truth." And just like that, the man who silenced me became the ghost haunting his own legacy. It started in the rain-slicked streets of Seattle, where the tech giants loom like wet gods over Puget Sound. Our family home wasn't a house. It was a fortress of glass and steel, perched on Capitol Hill, overlooking the city that my father, Harlan Voss, had clawed his way into dominating. Voss Dynamics wasn't just a company, it was a predator, devouring startups and spitting out fortunes. Dad was the CEO, the visionary, the asshole who made billions by predicting the future of AI while ignoring the one crumbling in his own backyard. I was Adeline Voss, the invisible daughter. At 16, I'd been the golden girl, straight A's at Lakeside School, violin prodigy, the face on his holiday card smiling like everything was pixel perfect. But that was before the accident. Or what he called the accident. The night my mother drove off that cliff on Highway 99, her Tesla plunging into the black waters of Lake Washington. Dad said it was a tragic miscalculation, her blood alcohol level at 0.12, the roads too slick from the endless drizzle. The headlines ate it up, Tech Titan's wife lost to demon rum. But I knew better. I'd seen the bruises on her arms, the way she'd flinch when he raised his voice during board calls. And that night, I'd heard them arguing in the study, her accusing him of siphoning funds from the company into offshore accounts to fund his mistress's plastic surgery empire. I was supposed to be asleep, tucked into my four-poster bed with the Egyptian cotton sheets that cost more than most people's rent. But the scream yanked me awake. I crept down the hall, barefoot on the cold slate floors, and peered through the crack in the door. Mom was backed against the desk, his hand around her throat, not squeezing yet, but threatening. "You think you can expose me, Evelyn, after everything I've given you?" She spat back. "Your money's dirty, Harlan. And so are you." Then he shoved her, hard, into the chair. She stumbled, grabbed the crystal decanter, his favorite, filled with Macallan 25, and smashed it over his head. Scotch and blood sprayed like confetti. He roared, lunged, and in the chaos, she bolted for the garage. I didn't stop her. I hid, like a coward. And when the cops came at dawn, sirens wailing through the mist, Dad was already spinning the yarn. She was drunk, hysterical. I tried to calm her. They found the car at the bottom, her body bloated and blue, seatbelt still fastened. No note, but the autopsy confirmed the booze. Dad played the grieving widower perfectly, press conferences with that furrowed brow, the single tear he could summon on cue. He even started a foundation in her name, Safe Roads for Moms. Hypocrite. But the real knife twist? He made me swear silence. In the lawyer's office, 2 weeks later, with the will being read, Mom had left me her shares in Voss Dynamics. A cool 15% stake. He leaned in close, his breath like stale coffee and lies. "You saw nothing, Addie. Or that pretty little future of yours. Gone. Schools, friends, everything. I was 16, shattered, and he was my world." So I nodded, and the words died in my throat. Literally. The doctors called it selective mutism, trauma-induced. I stopped talking. Stopped eating much. Became the ghost girl drifting through the mansion. While Dad partied with Silicon Valley's elite. His new arm candy a parade of models half his age. Fast forward 3 years. I'm 19 now. A shadow in my own home. Therapy sessions with shrinks who bill by the hour. But none crack the seal. Dad's empire swells. Voss Dynamics hits $1 trillion valuation on the Nasdaq. AI algorithms that predict consumer desires before they do. He marries again. A trophy named Cassandra. All Botox and Birkins. Who treats me like the help? Our staff rotates like seasons. Chefs from Michelin stars who quit after a month. Gardeners scared off by Dad's tantrums. But the new maid? She was different. Rosa, 40-something, with calloused hands from years scrubbing floors in Juarez before crossing the border. She didn't simper or avert her eyes. She looked at me like I was human. It was a Tuesday in October. The kind where the clouds hang low, like a bruise over the Space Needle. I'd been in the library all morning, curled in the leather armchair that smelled of pipe tobacco Dad hadn't smoked since Mom died. Rosa entered with her cart, feather duster in hand, humming a ranchera tune under her breath. She didn't announce herself, just started on the shelves, her movements efficient, unhurried. I watched her, the way dust motes danced in the sliver of light from the window. For the first time in a year, something stirred in my chest, not pain, but curiosity. She caught me staring. Paused. Duster midair. "Miss Adeline," she said, her English accented but warm. "Like chai. You look like you need air. This place, it's a tomb." I blinked, my throat tightening. No one talked to me like that. Not the tutors who droned on Zoom. Not Cassandra's fake concern over brunch. Rosa set the duster down, pulled a worn rosary from her pocket, and twisted it between her fingers. My daughter. Back home. She stopped talking too after her papa left. Took a year, but one day, she whispered Mama over tamales. Small things break the quiet. I opened my mouth, but only air escaped, a wheeze like a punctured tire. She didn't flinch. Just nodded, like she'd expected it. Words come when they're ready. Mia. No rush. Then she went back to dusting, but left a small tin of cinnamon candies on the side table. The kind Mom used to sneak me during Dad's meetings. That night, at dinner, solitary, as always, in the echoing dining room with its crystal chandelier dripping light like tears, Cassandra breezed in late, her heels clicking like gunfire. Dad was at the head, scrolling emails on his phone. "Adeline, darling, you look spectral," she said, sipping her Chardonnay. "Have you tried that new vocal coach? The one who works with stroke victims?" Dad chuckled, not looking up. "Leave her be, Cass. Addie's fine. Artists suffer in silence." I push my salmon around the plate, the fork scraping porcelain. Fine. The word ignited something. Later, in the dark of my room, with the city lights flickering like distant fires, I replayed Rosa's words. Small things. I grabbed my laptop, the one Dad monitored like a hawk, and typed into the search bar, Voss Dynamics scandals. The results flooded, whispers of embezzlement. Buried lawsuits from fired execs claiming Dad faked product demos. Nothing stuck. But one article, from a defunct blog called Tech Truth, caught my eye. Harlan Voss, the man who silenced his own code. It mentioned Mom's death obliquely. A footnote in a piece about corporate cover-ups. My hands shook as I clicked deeper. VPN routing through anonymous servers I'd learned from a bored hacker kid at school. There it was, a leaked email chain from 2021. Dad to his CFO. Handle Evelyn's loose lips. Make it look like the bottle. My vision blurred. Not an accident. A setup. He'd paid off the touchscreen tech. Planted the decanter shards in the car. And me? I'd taken the fall for his image, the tragic daughter. The reason he doubled down on family values in investor calls. Rage bloomed. Hot and unfamiliar. I slammed the laptop shut, heart pounding like bass in a trap house. Down the hall, Dad's laughter boomed from the media room. Some Netflix thriller with explosions. I wanted to scream, to shatter every window in that godforsaken house. But instead, I whispered to the empty room, not anymore. The next morning, Rosa found me in the kitchen at dawn, brewing coffee with grounds I'd spilled everywhere. She didn't scold, just handed me a rag and joined in, our elbows bumping in the narrow space. Bad dreams? She asked. I nodded. Then, God help me, rasped out my first word in 365 days. Truth. It came out like gravel. But she heard it. Her eyes widened, then softened.
Ah, Mia. Truth is a sharp knife.
Cuts both ways.
She didn't pry.
Instead, she told me her story over the hiss of the espresso machine. Widowed young. Daughter back in Mexico dreaming of nursing school. Bills piling like snowdrifts. Your father hired me cheap because I'm discreet. But discreet don't mean blind. She glanced at the security cams blinking in the corner. I see things. Papers in his safe. Numbers that don't add up. And the way he looks at you, like you're a glitch in his code. I gripped the counter, knuckles white.
He
killed her. The words tumbled out, rusty and raw. Rosa froze, then pulled me into a hug that smelled of bleach and lavender. Then we fix it. Quiet like. Maid's here, everything. That was the pact. Unspoken, but sealed in the steam rising from our mugs. Rosa became my confessor, my co-conspirator. She'd slip me printouts from the study financials Dad left out. Memos about Project Echo, his latest AI that could fabricate alibis from metadata. In return, I taught her the basics of encryption on a burner phone I'd ordered via Amazon under a fake name. We were the odd couple, heiress and housekeeper, plotting in whispers while the world spun on. But Dad noticed the shift. At breakfast a week later, he set down his tablet, eyes narrowing over his horn-rimmed glasses.
Addie, you're
humming? That's new. Cassandra tittered.
Oh.
Harlan. Maybe the maid's folk remedies are working. Rosa.
Was it?
The one with the accent. Dad's smile didn't reach his eyes. Rosa's temporary. We need someone more polished. That night, I overheard him on the phone, run her background. I don't like changes. Panic clawed at me. Rosa couldn't go, not when we'd just cracked the safes combo, July 14th, 21. Mom's birthday and death date. The bastard. Inside, flash drives labeled contingencies, one marked EV. File. Evelyn Voss. My hands trembled as I plugged it into my laptop in the basement server room. The hum of cooling fans masking my breaths. Videos loaded. Mom in the garage, planting the decanter, but edited. Dad's team splicing in footage of her stumbling from a bar earlier. CGI shadows making it look self-inflicted. And audio. Her voice, doctored to slur. I can't do this anymore. Harlan. It was all there. The betrayal. The frame job. He'd sacrificed her to bury a $200 million slush fund for bribing Chinese regulators on AI exports. And I'd carried the silence, the family's shame, while he rose higher. I confronted him that midnight, rain lashing the windows like accusations. He was in his study, scotch in hand, tie loosened. Dad, I croaked, door slamming behind me. He startled, glass clinking. Addie? Christ. Your voice, it's back. I stepped forward, phone recording in my pocket. Mom didn't kill herself. You did. His face cycled through shock. Then calculation, like an algorithm running scenarios. What the hell are you on about?
Sit down.
Let's talk. But I didn't. I played the file, her real voice pleading, unedited. His mask cracked. You don't understand, Addie. The company, our life, it was at stake. She was going to the feds. Our life. I laughed, bitter and broken. You mean your lies? I took the hit. The mute daughter. The perfect cover. He stood, looming, but there was fear in his eyes now. I protected you. From the vultures. The press. Protected? You broke me. Tears burned, but I held his gaze. I'm telling. All of it. He lunged, not to hit, but to grab the phone. We wrestled. Books tumbling. His breath hot on my neck. You ungrateful little. The door burst open. Rosa, wielding a fire poker like a sword. Back off. Señor. Dad froze. Then sneered. The maid? This is your ally? Jesus. Addie. Slum much. Rosa didn't flinch. Call the cops. I saw it all. But he laughed.
Cold.
Cops? I own half the department.
And you?
Deported by morning. The standoff hung. Electric. Then I whispered the hook that would reel him in, unless I go public first. Live stream.
Right now.
His empire teetered. For the first time, Harlan Voss looked small. We didn't call the cops that night. Dad retreated to his scotch, muttering about family therapy, but the air in the mansion thickened. Every creak a conspiracy. Rosa and I barricaded in my room, her rosary clicking like a metronome. He'll come for us.
Mia.
Men like him don't lose quiet. She was right. By dawn, his lawyer, a shark named Preston with a Rolex that screamed blood money, arrived with NDAs thicker than my wrist. Sign. Adeline. And we make this a healing moment. Voss dynamics weather scandals. Families don't. I tore it up. Shreds fluttering like confetti at a funeral. Tell him it's war. Preston's smile was plastic. Your father's offering a trust fund. 10 million. Walk away. Rosa snorted from the corner, packing her duffel. 10 million for a mother's life?
Keep it.
But the betrayal deepened. That afternoon, Cassandra cornered me in the greenhouse. Orchids wilting under her perfume haze. Sweetie, Harlan told me everything. Your mother's. Instability. It runs in the family, doesn't it? Her eyes gleamed. Predatory. I know about the files. Saw you snooping. Sign the paper, or I leak that you tampered with evidence. Daddy's little hacker. My stomach dropped. She'd been playing both sides, whispering to Dad while flirting with a stable boy for gossip. The flip was seamless. Her loyalty as fickle as her dye jobs. "You're no better than him," I hissed. She laughed. Manicured nails tapping a lily.
Oh.
"Honey, I'm better. I married the king." You're the jester." Rage fueled me. I stormed out, rain soaking my hoodie as I hit the streets, Uber to a cyber cafe in Belltown. There, amid the hiss of printers and burnt coffee, I uploaded snippets to a dark web forum. Vossgate, AI lies and a dead wife. Anonymized, but breadcrumbs leading back. Views ticked up. Hackers,
Journalists.
the underbelly of Seattle's tech scene. By evening, my phone buzzed. Anonymous DMs. "Got more? Let's burn him." Rosa met me at a dive bar off Pike Place. Her uniform swapped for jeans and a mariner's cap. The other maids talk. "Your father has a safe house in the Cascades. Goes there to think." And Cassandra? She's skimming from the household accounts, funding a coke habit in Vegas weekends. More betrayal, layered like Seattle's fog. We plotted over greasy fries. I'd infiltrate the safe house, grab the master drive. She'd distract with inventory in the study. But Dad struck first. That night, state troopers rolled up. Welfare check, they claimed, but their badges smelled of Voss donations. They grilled Rosa. Immigration status. Alleged theft. She held firm, but tears streaked her face as they cuffed her for obstructing. "Tell my girl I love her," she whispered, loaded into the cruiser. Dad watched from the porch, arms crossed, Cassandra simpering beside him. "Necessary,
Addie.
for your safety," I snapped. Grabbed the nearest vase, Mom's antique Ming, and hurled it at his feet. Shards exploding like gunfire. "Safety? You're the monster." He didn't flinch, just sighed. "Grow up. This is business." Alone in the wreckage, I realized the depth. He'd turned the law.
His wife.
Even the help against me. The secret I'd borne, Mom's murder, was just the tip. Project Echo? It wasn't prediction software. It was fabrication. Deepfakes for execs caught with interns. Alibis for senators on junkets. Dad had borne no mistakes. I'd shouldered them all. My silence the ultimate scapegoat. I fled to a motel in Tacoma. Cash from Mom's old jewelry stash. There, chain-smoking menthols I hated. I pieced the puzzle. Emails from the forum led to a whistleblower, ex-CFO Marcus Hale. Fired for ethics violations. He met me in a park at dusk. Trench coat and paranoia. "Harlan framed your mom to cover the China bribes." But that's small. Echoes being weaponized, gov contracts for psyops. Faking terror, vids to justify wars. My skin crawled. Not just personal betrayal, national treason. Marcus handed me a USB, unredacted ledgers. "Use it. But watch your back." He flips allies like pancakes. Back home, wait. Was it home? I confronted Cassandra alone. She was in the master bath, soaking in bubbles. Champagne flute dangling. "Out," I said, voice steadier now. She arched a brow. "Make me." I held up my phone. Marcus's files queued for send. "Your Vegas trips? Tied to Dad's slush." Co-conspirator. Her face drained of color.
Bitch.
But she rose. Towel slipping. Vulnerability cracking her facade. "He promised me half. Said you'd never talk." Another flip, she lunged for the phone. But I dodged. Slamming the door,
Choose. Cass.
Us or him. She chose survival. By midnight, she emailed her resignation, CCing the board with hints of irregularities. Dad's empire wobbled. Stock dipped 3% pre-market. He called me. Voice velvet over steel. Clever.
Addie.
But you're playing with fire.
Come home.
We negotiate. Rose's deportation hearing loomed. So, I went nuclear. Live stream from the motel's flickering bulb. My name is Adeline Voss. My father murdered my mother and built a billion-dollar lie on her grave. Views exploded. CNN pickup. Twitter ablaze. Vossgate trended. Protesters outside HQ chanting, "Silent no more." Dad's response? Oppressor at dawn. Tears on cue. My daughter suffers from delusions, exacerbated by grief. We've committed her to care.
Committed?
Sirens wailed as vans pulled up to the mansion. But I was gone. Holed up with Marcus in his Fremont loft. Walls papered in server racks. The climax brewed in the Cascades. Dad's safe house, a A-frame cabin off Highway 2, disguised as a hunting lodge. Marcus hacked the cams, Dad there, pacing, phone to ear. Find the girl. And the maid make it stick. Cunning bastard. Flipping immigration to bury her. We drove through sleet. My .38, borrowed from Marcus. Illegal as hell, cold in my lap. Controversial? Hell yes. Vigilantes in America. Daughters gunning for daddies. But the tension coiled like the road switchbacks. Arrive at dusk. Snow dusting evergreens. The door was ajar, invitation or trap. Inside, fire crackling. Dad in flannel, looking almost human. Addie, no anger, just weariness. You came. Marcus hung back, but I stepped forward. Gun low. End it.
Confess.
He poured bourbon. Offered a glass. Confess to what? Saving us? Without those bribes. Voss folds. Your college. This life gone. The flip. Victim now. Patriarch protecting legacy. Mom was collateral. Necessary evil. Evil. I raised the gun. Hand shaking. Viewers, I'd gone live again. Would split. Monster or man cornered. Marcus whispered. Don't. Evidence first. But Dad lunged. Not for me. But the USB in my pocket. Struggle. Table overturns. Flames lick spilled liquor. Gunfires. Wild. Into the wall. Then his hand on my throat. Echoing that night with Mom. You think you're avenging her? You're me.
Addie.
Ruthless. The door splintered. Rosa? No, Cassandra. Wild-eyed. Waving a hunting rifle. Harlan. You promised. Flip again, she'd tailed us. Allegiance crumbling. The board's turning. I want my cut. Chaos. Dad release me.
Spun.
You traitor bitch. Boom. Her shot grazed his arm. Blood blooming dark. I screamed. Gun forgotten. Marcus tackled her. Wrestling the rifle. Dad slumped.
Gasping.
Addie. Help. Polarization peaked. Was I killer? Standing over him? Savior. Exposing truth? Sirens distant, someone called it in. As cops swarmed, cuffing all, Dad whispered, I did it for you. Lie or love. The drive back. Zip-tied in the cruiser. Rose's face flashed in my mind. She'd beaten deportation on a technicality, my viral plea. But the twist loomed. Interrogation room in King County, fluorescents buzzing like angry hornets. Coffee stale as regret. They separated us. Me in one box. Marcus in another. Cassandra in holding. Her acrylics scratching the table. Dad? VIP treatment. Private jet to a Bellevue clinic. Arm bandaged like a badge of honor. His lawyer, Preston, slithered in first. Adeline. This is misguided theater. Drop the charges, self-defense on the cabin scuffle, and we bury it. Therapy. Inheritance intact. I stared at the two-way mirror, knowing Dad watched. Charges? For what, Truth? My voice, once a ghost, now echoed off cinderblocks. Preston leaned in, cologne cloying. Truth is subjective. Your father's built jobs. Innovation. One mistake doesn't erase that mistake. The word ignited flashbacks. Mom's laugh in the kitchen. Pre-lies. Dad's hand on my shoulder at my recital. Pre-blood. But the files burned hotter. I slid Marcus's USB across. Echoes, not innovation. It's forgery. Deepfakes for the powerful. Senators, CEOs, your clients. His eyes flickered. Guilt or greed. Speculation. Sign the NDA. I laughed.
Raw.
No more silence. The DA bought my story, partly. Bail set at $1 million. Posted by anonymous donors from the forum. Vossgate swelled. Reddit threads debating, was Harlan Voss a monster or a martyr? Protests outside the jail. Counter-protests with Save Our Tech Jobs signs. Polarizing. Just like America, half seeing a grieving daughter, half a spoiled brat torching her meal ticket. Rosa waited outside. Bail skipped thanks to a GoFundMe miracle. We hugged under sodium lamps, her warmth thawing the chill. The judge? A Voss donor. But your words. Mija, their weapons now. She drove me to a safe house in Ballard. A fisherman's walk-up smelling of salt and smoked salmon. There. Overposal from a food truck. She confessed her flip. I almost took his payoff. $5,000 to forget the poker night. But your eyes. Like my daughter's. Couldn't. Betrayals echo. Everyone had their price. Their pivot. Even me. I'd borne Mom's death as my fault. Silent accomplice.
But now?
I dove into Echo's code. Marcus tutoring via encrypted chat. Lines of Python weaving illusions. Facial swaps seamless as Seattle rain. One file. A deepfake of a rival CEO admitting fraud. Tanking his stock. Dad's masterpiece. Cassandra flipped again in her plea deal. Testified. Harlan orchestrated Evelyn's death. I saw the memos. But twisted it, claimed coercion. Painting herself victim. The media lapped it. Trophy wife turns on tech tycoon. Dad's counter. Leaked therapy notes, mine. Forged, suggesting hysteria. Controversy brewed. Feminist icons decrying, gaslighting the survivor, conservatives railing, family privacy invasion. The tension mounted at the preliminary hearing. Courthouse packed like a Black Friday sale. Dad entered in a Brioni suit, arm in sling, flashing that CEO smile to cameras. I sat opposite, in thrift jeans and a hoodie. Rosa my shadow. Judge Harlan, irony's joke. Banged gavel. MS. Voss. Your accusations are grave. Evidence. I took the stand, voice steady as the sounds tied. He killed her. Framed her drunk to cover bribes. Gasps rippled. Dad's eyes bored in pride. Hate. I played the unedited garage audio. Mom's plea. Harlan. The money's tainted. I'm going to the press. Silence fell, heavy as fog. Then his testimony. Wheelchair-bound now, convenient. Voice frail. Adeline's brilliant, but broken. The audio? Manipulated by her hacker friends. I loved Evelyn. Fought to save her from addiction. Jury murmurs. He flipped the narrative. Doting dad versus unstable teen. She bore no burden. I carried hers. Therapy records show. Objection. My lawyer, pro bono firebrand from ACLU, leapt. Fabricated. Echo tech. Chaos. Reporters scribbled. Twitter exploded. Outside. Clashes. Voss employees versus activists. Pepper spray clouding the air. That night. Anonymous threat. Burner text. Drop it or Rose's daughter gets deported for real. Dad's moxie. Outsourcing menace. I traced it. Burner bought at a Capitol Hill bodega. CCTV grainy but damning. Cassandra's driver. Another flip. Her loyalty, a weather vane. We struck back. Marcus and I hacked Echo servers, Voss HQ. Firewalls like tissue to his skills. Downloaded terabytes. Deepfakes of politicians in compromising acts. Tasteful. But damning. Rigged election sims. Leaked to WikiLeaks proxy. Boom, global headlines. U.S. tech firms' AI psyops exposed. Stocks cratered 40%. SEC raid at dawn. Dad called from his penthouse sickbed. Voicemail. Voice cracking. Addie. Stop. You're destroying us. Come home, let's fix this as family. The pull tugged. Blood's whisper. Was revenge erasure or justice? Rosa saw my waiver.
Mia.
He broke you once. Don't let him twice. The safe house siege came at 2 a.m. Black SUVs. Private security in tactical vests. Courtesy of Voss Protective Services, the lead barked. Breaching the door. Gunfire, suppressed pops, Marcus shielding me as bullets chewed drywall. Rosa fired back with a shotgun from under the couch. Boom shaking the bones. Run, she yelled. I bolted to the fire escape. Rain slicking rungs. Below. Cop lights swirled. Tip off from our leak? Or trap. Drop to alley. Heart hammering. Marcus dragged out. Cuffed. Blood on his lip. Rosa zip-tied. Defiant. And Dad, watching from a limo across the street. Silhouette regal. Interrogated again. Dawn breaking gray. DA, self-defense. But security claimed trespass. My lawyer spun. Whistleblower protection. Released on technicality. But the strain showed. Nightmares of Mom's car sinking. Dad's handprint on my throat. Cassandra visited in lockup. Glass partition like our divides. He's crumbling.
Addie.
Board ousted him. Interim CEO's me. Flip supreme. From mistress to mogul. Join me. We rebuild Voss clean. Tempting, power siren. But her eyes? Hungry. Or what? Or I testify full. Your Vegas ledgers. She smiled. Serpent. Do it. I'll say you coerce me with echo fakes. Checkmate tease. The real twist brewed in discovery. Mom's suicide note. Never publicized. In Dad's safe. A forgery admitting affair with the gardener. But ink analysis recent. And the handwriting?
Mine.
Subconscious scrawl from therapy doodles. Scanned and forged. He'd pinned it on me all along, the unstable daughter who drove her to it. Rage reborn. You am as the grave. I confronted him in Bellevue General. Guards posted but bribed low. Room sterile. Monitors beeping his fragile pulse. The note. Dad. My hand. He stirred. 4 dripping morphine dreams. Proof.
Addie.
For a few ever.
Weak.
But cunning. Insurance policy. I bore the sin to free you. Free? You caged me. Tears hot. He gripped my wrist. Frail but fierce. The world eats weakness. I made you strong. Discharged that week. House arrest pending trial. Mansion felt haunted. Ghosts in every corner. Rosa bailed too. But her daughter? Visa denied. Courtesy IC tip. Collateral. Dad called it in a note slipped under door. Tension peaked at the cabin retrial. Venue moved to spoken. Neutral ground. Jury selection. Tech bros versus blue collar. Split down middle. My testimony. Full throttle.
Videos.
Ledgers. Dad's. Mea culpa partial. I aired. But for the greater good, jobs. Progress. Jury hung. Mistrial whispers. Then the call. Anonymous. Marcus's voice. Strangled. Addie, they got me.
Feds.
Echoes, DARPA ties. National security. Flip cosmic. My revenge. State's weapon. Voss not just crime, conspiracy. I drove east alone. Cascades blurring. Cabin empty now. But the safe held one last drive. Adeline's contingency. Played. My voice. Deep faked.
Confessing I pushed mom.
Hysterical. Dad's masterstroke. Frame the framer. Revelation. He'd borne nothing. I'd been the fall guy from jump. Silence his script. But the twist? Timestamp. Post my first words. He planned my revenge. To discredit it. Spokane courthouse loomed like a concrete crypt. Wheat fields golden under relentless sun. A far cry from Seattle's gloom. But the tension clung. Thick as humidity. Trial day 1. Opening statements. My lawyer. Elena. Paced like a panther. Harlan Voss didn't just kill a wife. He murdered truth itself. With AI lies. Buried secrets. And a daughter's stolen voice. Jury leaned in, 6 men in flannel. 6 women with knowing eyes. Polarized already. The men nodding at innovation. Women at silenced women. Dad's team? Circus of suits. Preston leading. A father's desperate acts to protect his legacy. Tragic. Not criminal. He wheeled Dad in, sling gone. But Kane for sympathy. Harlan locked eyes with me across the aisle. A flicker, regret? Challenge? Rosa sat behind. Her presence anchor. Though her texts from Mexico burned. Daughter safe. But scared. Fight for us. Evidence parade. The garage audio. Unedited. Mom's terror raw.
Gasps.
Then echo demos, Marcus's code. Projected, a fake me confessing to pushing mom. Tech expert testified, seamless. Could fool a polygraph. Jury shifted. One woman whispered. Witch hunt. Controversy crackled. Fox News. Tech dad versus vengeful heir. MSNBC. Patriarchy's deepfake. Cassandra's turn. Star witness. Deal sweetened. In pencil skirt and pearls. She testified. Harlan confessed to me. The bribes. The frame. I stayed silent for love. Sob story. Tears glistening. Cross. Elena eviscerated. Love, or the $50 million prenup? Cass flipped mid-stand. He threatened me, said he'd echo me into scandal. Jury groaned, liar exposed. But doubt seated. Lunch recess. Protesters outside. Justice for Evelyn clashing with Free Harlan counter. Pepper spray again. Medics hauling a bleeding activist. Inside. I retched in the bathroom. Mirror showing hollow cheeks. Eyes haunted. Rosa slipped in. Breathe.
Mia.
This storm passes. But her flip haunted. She'd taken a side gig cleaning for the prosecution. To hear whispers. Loyalty's gray. Afternoon, my stand. Spotlights hot. Voice amplified but trembling. I was 16. Hid while he choked her. Then bore the silence he demanded. I played the deep fake of myself. Jury recoiled. This is his weapon. Turned my pain into his alibi. Dad's gaze burned. For a heartbeat. His mask slipped sorrow, then calculation. His cross, Preston.
Oily.
Adeline. You uploaded leaks. Hacked servers. Vigilante justice. I met his eyes. Justice, he denied Mom. Applause from gallery, gavel bang. But seed planted. Was I avenger or anarchist? Night 1, motel lockdown. Feds outside, Marcus's national security snag. Dreams. Mom's car bubbling under waves. My hand pushing. Woke sweating. Called Elena. The contingency file, it's post my words. He anticipated my revenge. Her gasp. Trap. He'll claim you fabricated everything. Dawn briefing. Pivot to offense. Subpoena Voss servers. Full echo audit. But hack traces led to.
Me?
No, Dad's plant. Logs faked via backdoor. Day 2. Bombshell. FBI agent testifies. Project Echo under review. Potential treason. Gasps thunderous. Dad's face ashen. Preston objects. Irrelevant. But judge allows. Jury sees the stakes. Not just murder. Empire of deceit. Then Dad stand. Cane thumping. He rose like Lazarus. I built Voss from a garage. Like Jobs. Like Gates. Evelyn.
She faltered.
The bottle. The paranoia. I covered for her.
Yes.
To spare Adeline shame. Lies velvet. The frame? Mercy kill of reputation. Jury wrapped. A man nodded. Flip masterful. Villain to visionary. Cross. Elena Savage. Mercy? Or cover for $200 million theft. Ledgers projected. Offshore in Cayman. Wires to Beijing. Dad stammered. Competitive edge. But the deepfake demo backfired. Expert glitches it live. Revealing my real voice underneath. I didn't push her. Jury murmurs peaked. Recess chaos. Leaks hit. Cassandra's affair with Preston. Exposed via her own phone hack. Irony. She flips again. Storming out. Yelling perjury. Media frenzy. Evening. Rosa and I walk the motel's edge. Willamette winds whipping. He made you the monster.
Mia.
To save himself. Her secret. I recorded him. Post cabin. Admitting the note forgery. Gold. But cost? Her green card revoked. Whistleblower backlash. Day 3. Closing. Elena. Betrayals chain. Wife to daughter to nation. Break it. Preston. A family's private hell. Twisted by ambition. Jury deliberates. Hours stretch like taffy. I pace. Rosa prays. Twist drops. Juror texts bribed. Leak. Split 6-6. Harlan sympathizers versus Evelyn's ghosts. Mistrial looms, but foreman calls, guilty. Manslaughter. Echo fraud. Cheers.
Sobs.
Dad convicted, 15 years. White-collar wing. But the flip, appeal immediate. Bail granted. Health, Preston claims. Outside. Hugs from strangers. Rosa beams, but whispers, it's not over. He flips from prison. Indeed, presser from his jet. Innocent. Framed by my own blood. Stocks rebound on rumor. Back in Seattle. Mansion seized, feds combing. I claim mom's old studio. Violin dusty. Play a scale, notes creak. But free. Marcus released. Charges dropped. Plea to consult. We rebuild eco-ethical. Open source truth AI. But Cassandra? Vanishes to Cayman. Siphoning remnants. Bounty hunters fail, she's ghost. Her final text. You won the battle.
Addie.
But the war? Daddy's forever. You and peace fractures. Dad's letters from MCC. Proud of your fire. Visit. Temptation's hook. Rosa's daughter arrives. Visa miracle. We host tamales. Laughter tentative. Yet, tension lingers. One night. Power outage. Mansion dark. Footsteps. Heart races. Light flicks. Just wind. But the safe's ajar. New file. Adeline 2.0. Deep fake of me. Years from now. Confessing regret. His last flip from bars. Months blurred into a fragile normalcy. Seattle's drizzle washing sins but not stains. Voss Dynamics rebranded. Voss Truth. Under Marcus's interim helm. My 15% stake a seat at the table. Board meetings in glass towers. My voice now the sharpest algorithm. No more shadows. Transparency code or bust. Employees whispered. The silent one's a shark. Empowerment tasted like victory, but bitter. Laced with what-ifs. Rosa integrated. Her daughter Sophia shadowing med school dreams at UW. Family dinners. Posals steaming. Stories swapped. No ghosts invited. But Dad's letters piled. Unopened.
Addie.
The food here's slop. Tell Rosa her tamales haunt me. Humor? Manipulation? I burned them. Ashes swirling in the fireplace like escaped secrets. Cassandra's trail went cold until a Cayman alert, shell company in her name. Funneling echo remnants to dark web auctions. Deep fake your enemies for a price.
My doing?
No, her flip final. Twisting Dad's tool into freelance venom. Elena sued internationally. But jurisdiction's a joke. She's smoke.
Addie.
Let karma. Karma visited Thanksgiving. Power stable now. But paranoia flickered, cameras eyed installed. AI monitored. Sophia helped cook. Her laugh light. Then the doorbell. Courier. Manila envelope. Inside, photos.
Me.
Asleep in the studio. Rosa at market. Marcus in his loft. Back. Family reunion?
Love. Ash.
Chills. Prison perks. Contraband cell? I called feds. Threat assessment. They shrugged. Voss influence wanes. But echoes. Pun unintended. That night. Sleep evaded. Dreams of the cabin. His hand on my throat. Cassandra's rifle flash. Climax brewed not in court, but code. Marcus poured overseas servers. Hidden partition. Adeline contingency 2.0. Not just my deepfake confession, a virus. Self-propagating. Ready to smear me globally if triggered. Dad's masterstroke from cell. Flip the script. He coded it pre-arrest, Marcus said. Glasses fogging. Waiting for your rise. We isolated it. Ethical hackers swarming, but the worm wriggled. Tendrils in cloud backups. Race against digital doom. Lines of code blurring. Coffee cold. Rosa prayed in corner. Rosary frantic. Fight fire with fire.
Mia.
Inspiration struck. Repurpose. Turn the virus into whistle. Auto-leak all VOS sins on trigger. But cost? My face is bait. I authorized. Let it loose. Views spiked. My confession viral. But embedded metadata. Unredacted files. Mom's real audio. Echo's darkest demos. VOS twist trended. Is Adeline confessing or countering? Polarization peaked. Forums ablaze. Heroic hack versus digital terrorism. Dad's response. Smuggled video. YouTube bomb. Frail and orange. Eyes steel. My daughter. Brilliant but broken. This confession? My gift. Truth from her lips. Flip genius. Martyred dad. Exposing her lies. Stocks tanked anew. Protests reignited. Capitol Hill clashes turning ugly. Molotovs at a VOS kiosk. Feds swarmed the mansion. Me in cuffs again. Questioning. Rosa shielded Sophia. She's clean. Interrogation. You released a worm. Cybercrime. But Elena burst in. Exculpatory. Self-defense code. Released. But scarred. The twist landed Christmas Eve. Package at door. Dad's cane. Engraved for the walk you choose. Inside, letter. Addie, I bore the sins so you wouldn't. The virus? Test your mettle.
Proud.
Visit. Tell the guards it's family. No remorse. Just chess endgame. Happy? Tragic? Readers, viewers, would debate. Villain redeemed. Or daughter forever chained. I drove to MCC Seattle. Snow dusting evergreens. Visiting room sterile. Plexiglass thick. He shuffled in. Thinner, but grin wolfish. Voice suits you. I sat. No recorder. The note. The virus, why? He leaned, breath fogging glass. To make you unbreakable. Evelyn was soft. You? Diamond. Confession partial. The bribes?
Yes.
Her death? Pushed too far. But necessary. No apology. Just legacy's a bitch. Yours now. I stood. Throat tight. Mine's truth. Not your games. Walked out. Cane left behind, symbol snapped in the lot. With splintering like old bones. Back home. Fire crackled. Rosa poured eggnog. Sophia violin, my old one. Notes pure. Marcus emailed. Worm neutralized. VOS Truth launches tomorrow. Your keynote. Ending? No tidy bow. Dad appeals. Free on technicalities 6 months later. Health clause. Cassandra surfaces in Miami. Podcast queen. Betrayed by both. Flips galore. I speak at TEDx. Voice steady. Silence isn't strength. It's a cage. Applause thunders. But lingers. Midnight runs along the waterfront. Sound black as secrets. One night. Whisper in ear. Addie. Wind? Ghost? Or Dad's echo? Eternal. Revenge?
Pyrrhic.
Empire crumbles. But I'm whole, scarred. But speaking. And in America's fractured mirror.
Who's right?
Him. The builder?
Me.
The breaker? Debate rages. As it should. Truth's no winner. It's the fight. In the end, I chose the walk. Not his.
Mine.